Right at it. Right at it. Oh, he's done it again. Just as he did at the John Deere for his first win.
Alrighty, welcome to the 49th episode of the Go Get That podcast. I apologize for the lighting and the audio. I don't know. Do I even sound all right? I think I do.
You're okay.
That bad. Yeah. So I don't have my mic in the midst of moving. Everything's all over the place, and the lighting is just it's all right. You can see my beautiful face enough. Recapping the U.S. Open and doing the Travelers preview in one episode. Though we won't be previewing the Travelers much. It will be a lot of LIV talk, and that's after we get into all of the US Open stuff, which me and Jordan happily attended. Overall, unforgettable experience for me. It was a fantastic event. They did a very good job setting up the golf course. I have no complaints on the golf course, to say the least. It was fantastic. It was well set up. As much as I would have loved to see carnage on Sunday, the pins were very strategic to where you could play well and you'd be rewarded with a lot of good shots. But you could also find yourself in a disaster if you missed where you're aiming. So I thought it was very fair. Wasn't as carnage as we would have liked, but it is what it is. Can't complain with the 6-under winner. That's a good tournament.
Yeah, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off there, but I saw this article and it basically said that some recent US Opens maybe haven't been as challenging or carnagey as we might have wanted them, but I think they make for better championships, right? Like I think you probably get a better tournament than having it be full on carnage for 4 days. I mean, like the stuff that we want to see, I think there was parts of it there, but I think it was a good enough challenge to where that's a major championship tournament.
Yeah, I've always said that the perfect tournament is when one person finishes under par and the rest shoot even or over. And as close as you can get to that is pretty good. And I think that this was basically that. One person played very well this week and they won the golf tournament. They deserved it. It wasn't the golf course is just so pure. It's not like, as much as we love Chambers Bay, it's not like Chambers Bay where it's not like you're playing golf on the moon. It's the golf course. It was parkland, perfect style, hard rough, fair rough. I thought the staggered rough was just excellent. And then obviously the greens were very tricky and the bunkers as well. It was a perfect test of golf. I think they easily could have made it a little harder, but I mean, I would have liked to see them not put all the funnel pins in one day. But again, on some of the greens, there were only so many places you could put pins, like 8. But overall, I mean, just an unforgettable experience to be able to attend a major was pretty sick. Jordan's been to events. I'm sure, Dan, you've been to the Rocket Mortgage, right?
No, I've never been to anything yet.
Really?
I think I'm going to the Rocket Mortgage this summer, regardless of certain attendees. So
I don't think Mr. Speed will be.
Yeah.
I don't know about that.
And like Mr.
That's
Bright,
another story.
Well, we're still waiting the John Deere commitment, so we'll see there what happens. In the end, it was just really cool. It was just a different atmosphere. I'll share my thoughts in a bit after Jordan gives his overall recap. But the fact that it felt different than TPC River Highlands or TPC Boston or Muirfield Village or any of the tournaments I've been to. It just felt different. I thought it was really cool walking in on Wednesday, seeing people practicing a good chunk of people that I've never heard of. I thought that it was really cool that just that open factor that people are qualifying from all over the place. And it was just really cool to see a harder golf course. I've never watched a tournament in person where par is a very good score, because when I went to the Muirfield tournament, it was like a 13. I've never been to Muirfield in person once played tough. So it was really cool to see that, but I have more thoughts on it, specific thoughts.
Yeah, I mean, just an awesome experience. I put out an Instagram post kind of detailing my thoughts, besides a couple of routing issues, which, I mean, the course is 130 years old. You're not going to have it be perfect for, spectator viewing. I know, Bob, you'll be at TPC River Highlands. That course is made for competitions and spectator viewing. The country club wasn't, just because it's so old. But I mean, it is a heck of a golf course. 1-2 for me, US Opens probably will always be Oakmont and Shinnecock, wherever you want them. Country club's right there at 3. It's a great test of golf. I mean, Matt Fitzpatrick winning at 6 under, not shooting over par any of the 4 days is just incredible. Spieth finished at 7 over. So I mean, it just shows you that you can shoot good scores out there and you can really get into trouble, which is just exactly what the US Open should be. If just for the audience, if you've never been to a major, go. I know the Masters is tough just because of the price, but if you can get to a PGA or a US Open, if it's near you, wherever you live in the US, or even if you're from Europe, if you can get to the Open, I just highly recommend going. The experience is just so much different. And you can tell it by the way the players look. They are so dialed in, so focused. Nothing but good things. And Boston crowds were awesome. The galleries were awesome. The setup at 18 was sick with the clubhouse in the background. It was just an awesome experience.
Yeah, it was a good experience on TV.
For you too, Dan?
Yeah, well, okay, here's the thing. On TV, the course showed really well. I enjoyed the fact that there were enough holes where if you hit 2 really good shots, you could make a birdie, or 1 really good shot. You could still make a birdie, but there were also holes like 10 where if you made 4, that's really, really well done. So I think there was a good balance there. They had the short 3, the 2 5s were interesting, right? Especially with the wind direction on the weekend, it made them hard to get to and 2. Even 8 was gettable, but if you leave it on the front, it's rolling down 60 yards. That's cool. That's different. But it's not like quirky. It's not
it's not quirky.
Yeah, it's not like
it's old school golf, which is just
it's
awesome.
Not some folks might describe it as not Mickey Mouse, right? Like it's not that like where it's just ridiculously stupid or unfair or whatever. Like it's part of the test. NBC did a really bad job in terms of they put every advertisement ever on the main feed.
I have heard
they cut the morning featured groups on the weekend short at like hole 12.
That's embarrassing.
It was just bad. They were lucky that Rolex basically bought the last hour of coverage and said no ads, which is good on them because we were whining about it a lot. We meaning golf media, and not that we are golf media necessarily, but like golf Twitter, I guess I should say. Everybody was really on complaining about it, and props to Mike Wan too, because he came out and said like, hey, we understand, we will work on this. So hopefully in the future, NBC does a bit of a better job kind of limiting advertisements. So for a viewing experience not being there, the course showed well on TV, but they didn't.
I was going to say the first thing I thought when I saw on Wednesday, I was like, this course is going to be a gem on television.
Yeah. It was fantastic. Yeah. They had a bunch of really good camera angles. It's too bad there were just, saw a lot of Jake from State Farm and not a lot of golf shots. So it's like, I mean, I feel like NBC is just notoriously not that great at it either. CBS has their moments, but this is just,
it'll be interesting next month, because next month's the crown jewel, with the 150th Open at St. Andrews.
Yeah, and there's going to be
So-
a bajillion like pre-promo packages that they throw in there too. It's not even the ads. It's like they throw in, oh, here's Francis Ouimet's house, and here's 7 minutes on Mr. Ouimet. And it's like, all right, cool. But how about, I don't know, Rory making birdie on number 3 to get back, right? Like let's, it's just, there's just a lot of pre-promotional stuff, a lot of ads,
I mean,
and it's tough, man.
those 7-minute things on Francis Ouimet are things that you show before the leaders go off on Sunday and
Exactly.
on Thursday, not during the middle of coverage on a Saturday afternoon.
Yeah, it's like, just pick some better times for those.
It's
man.
just that's tough. That's tough. I didn't watch the coverage because I was there all week, obviously, but I mean, yeah,
There's things
that's
to improve on the coverage. As for the golf though, at least Sunday, I mean, the tournament as a whole, it was a great Sunday. Like you had 3 dudes really, which was a little unfortunate that you didn't have more people kind of in the mix, but you had
the cream of the crop.
Yeah, right. You had the number 1 player in the world.
It had
Rahm was there at the beginning. Rory was there at the beginning, and your final pairing was there the whole day, right?
It
You
had-
saw pretty much every shot of the final pairing.
It had everything. The Sunday had everything. The only thing was lacking was a big putt on 18 to win. Disappointing that one of those 2 didn't fall. I was rooting for Zalatoris, but if Matt Fitzpatrick had to win, I would have liked to see that putt go in. The place would have gone nuts. But it had everything. It had the final group battle. It had the number 1 player in the world making his push. It had 2 major champions chasing to post a number in Morikawa and Matsuyama. That was pretty cool because both of those guys, if they could have gotten to -4, things could have played out differently. I don't think anyone was beating Fitzpatrick because he was so solid. But just to talk about that shot, seeing that on 18.
Yeah.
I was with my friend Ryan, and he was talking. We were hearing on the radio, you had those earpiece radios, that it was going to be a wedge out. That's what we were hearing. One there. That's what that's what they said the lie was like. They said this is going to be a wedge out. He was going to play for a par from 80 yards. When we saw him, we could kind of see him hitting, but we couldn't see him. We could just see the club come up. And when we saw it splash, you're like, that's not a wedge out. And just seeing it land on the green was so surreal because it was the last thing anyone expected. And we realized in the moment that was a shot that was going to be replayed for years and years to come because it was, you look at Matt Fitzpatrick, he has had his share of close calls / right there, but didn't get it done moments on the PGA Tour. And he stepped up and he hit a major championship winning golf shot. And that was really cool to see. It was nothing short of incredible. It's not the best shot of all time at a US Open. It's not even top 5, but he knew that given where Zalatoris was, being one of the best wedge players in the world, he knew that Zalatoris was going to give him a look inside of 15 feet, and he knew that he needed to make par. He knew that bogey was not going to be enough for a playoff, and he knew that it probably wouldn't be enough to even get to a playoff. He stepped up, and he absolutely flushed it. He could not have hit that ball any better. It was surreal to see in person. It was cool to see. The crowd was a mix of awe and clapping because no one really understood what was happening because no one expected him to hit a shot on the green.
And just for being there in person, I was at the grandstand closest to 18 green. You couldn't really see anything because I didn't have a microphone. I didn't have a headpiece. So you didn't, if you were in person, I think you were probably closer to where he hit from, Bob. We just saw a ball land. We didn't in person know how good of a shot it was at first. We knew he was in the crap. We knew he was in the bunker. but to hit it to 25 feet in the most pressure packed situation of his career was just pretty monumental.
I mean, that's a shot that you can chunk, go be in the rough, struggle to make bogey, or then into the bunker, like right back at his feet. Like any of those things were in play there. He had enough room to get it up, but he wasn't by any means clear of the lip by a good margin. He had to get it up quick, and he did it perfectly. It was unbelievable. It was nothing short of unbelievable.
It was a shot in the biggest moment that you had to, like, I mean, you just said you had to hit that perfect. There's no like slightly fatting it. There is no slightly thinning it. There is no, pulling it left, pushing it right, like that. He hit exactly the shot he was trying to hit. And, he knew the misses were, he was comfortable with what the misses would be, but he flushed it, right? So that was great. But honestly, that was kind of, I don't know how much Fitzpatrick you guys saw on Sunday. He was really good all day. Like he came out one tee and there were no nerves. He was just flushing it straight from the get-go. He missed a couple putts, short putts that he's usually a really good putter inside of 10 feet. I think he lipped out on 6. He ran a couple by. I mean, he drove 5 green on Sunday, only guy to do that. And he was just so in control. And it was honestly kind of shocking given I felt like the PGA, he was not very good on Sunday. And he kind of scrapped out a score, but it seemed like he didn't feel like he had any confidence that he could do it. And then at the US, he stepped on the first tee and he was like, this is my tournament. And of course, Scheffler's doing the same thing because that's what #1 players in the world do. So he jumped out to the lead. Fitz battled the whole way. And then it really turned on 13, I think, when he made like a 50-footer from the back of the green to grab the birdie, and Zalatoris then poured a par right on top of him. And from then it was like, all right, it's these two. And if Scheffler can maybe get something to get over the line, it'll be a 3-horse race. But I mean, Fitz was fantastic, right? And it was, I think the shot on 18 was kind of
culmination.
Yeah, right. It was like, it didn't surprise me that he hit that shot the way he did, partly because he had done that all day. Like he was really, really good all day. And I mean, I guess so was Will and so was Scotty, and they just came up a little bit short.
I mean,
cool to see.
4 subpar rounds on that golf course and that win is just really impressive. And I mean, he was, what was he, like 42nd in putting for the week? Like he didn't even putt well.
He was slightly above average.
Like, I mean, he was 42nd out of 64 guys in putting and won the US Open. Like that's not an easy thing to do. And that just tells you how dialed he was tee to green.
Yeah, he flushed it. And he looked like he knew it was his. There was a sense of confidence that like, I'm going to go win this tournament. And I think going to Zalatoris, I think a little bit, there's like even with Xander a little bit too, there's like a hesitancy or like a questioning of like, am I really good enough to do this, And it felt like when Zalatoris got the lead, he got a 2-shot lead after birdieing 11. He went bogey and then had to make a 15-footer. It was a great par, but you got the 2-shot lead and then he couldn't quite slam his foot on, the field's neck and close it out. And it seems there's just that like missing, like what Fitzpatrick had all day Sunday. It's like, this is my tournament and I'm just going to win it. And at least I'm going to play my best golf and go win it. And it seems like Zalatoris gets to the point where, all right, just slam the door. And then it's like, oh, I'm going to let people in it. And then, oh, I'm behind. And now I'm going to try and come back and win it. And it's just not quite enough.
I mean,
he'll get one soon, but
he will get one soon because he's just that good. But it felt like Fitz's all day. Was he the only person to drive the green on 5 this week?
Yeah.
That's incredible.
My point is though on 11,
and it was on Sunday, and it was a quick tee. Like it was a nonchalant, like to 25 feet. Like it was
What-
just,
Was he the only one to drive it on Sunday or all week?
I didn't see anyone do it all week. I'm sure there was someone,
Sure.
but I did not see anyone do it all week. I saw everyone being short.
Yeah.
It
Well,
was
especially
into the wind all week and it was
right,
uphill.
yeah. I think he got a little lucky that the wind died, but he flushed it. Like there was
Yeah.
no doubt it was hit it, twirl. I hit that the best that I could, tight draw right at the middle of the green.
That's impressive.
And the thing, Fitz played so well, and I thought he deserved to win. But Zalatoris, I think, will feel like he let one slip because
I mean, he led by two. He led by two.
he had it on 11. He had it. Fitz had just 3-putted, and I know he bounced back really well, but Zalatoris he just sort of I don't know exactly how to describe. I think it just shows it's hard to win these things. And it
Takes
was
a lot of luck.
It seemed like Fitz was so destined to repeat at Brookline, right? The USAM and now the US Open. And it was so cool to see his reaction. Partly because a guy like Fitzpatrick, like he's won some pretty big events on the European Tour, actually. If you look, a lot of them have like Masters in the name. And he's got a bunch, like he's got like 8 wins over
Won the
there.
Race to Dubai tournament at the end.
Right, exactly. Like he's won a bunch of big tournaments over there. But this could be his only major, and that would not shock me at all, right? And to see somebody like, and I think it wouldn't shock him at all either, and to see somebody win one, to say, yep, I've got my major now, is really, really cool. Because I think Zalatoris will get his, and Scheffler will probably add a couple more, but it's pull it out at a course that
I mean,
he's done it before.
it was impressive because this was not a week that he went into under the radar. I mean, he was the guy. Everything pointed towards him winning this week because of how he performed in the only time they've played this in the last 30 years. In a big event. And I mean, his odds you could see were significantly lower than they are at any other tournament. Like he was the guy this week that everyone had on their list because of his history at this golf course, and he went out and he answered the call, which was really cool because it's very rare that you see a high favorite that, or not even just a high favorite, because there were plenty of people higher odds than him, but the fact that he was the storyline going in,
right.
It really impressive to handle that the way he did and to go out. And as you said, he didn't falter once. He didn't have any over par rounds at this golf.
Right. Yeah, he's not usually a storyline, and he was certainly one this week. And
Absolutely.
to answer the bell like that was really, really impressive.
Yeah.
And to win, I mean, for the first time in America, to win the US Open, that's like the peak of American golf. And I'm, the Masters, whatever, but it's like the US Open is the US's like big tournament, so to win that is it's so cool. I mean, it really is. It's like, it's not like, it would be cool if some, random guy won, and it'd be cool if some star won, but Fitz is like a borderline star, and now he's a major champ, and now he's earned his sort of stripes in the game of golf, and it's good for him. And I think it was awesome to see on TV.
It was also.
Go ahead.
You go, Jordan. You go.
Just on Fitz, I mean, any tough golf course, the dude's in it. Like,
yeah, he's a grinder.
I mean, if the score is in the single digits under par, he's up there. He just finds a way. And yeah, a lot of that is because he's such a good putter, and he didn't even putt well this week. I mean, Scotty was talking about it after the round. Everyone talks about Bryson's body transformation, but Fitzpatrick's bombing it. I mean, he's the only guy to drive 5 green on Sunday. I mean, we saw Spieth every day come up 20 yards short. And
Yeah.
I mean, Fitzpatrick hit it with ease on Sunday in a pressure pack situation. So that should really just tell you, how good the guy is.
Yeah.
I mean,
go ahead.
Go. No, because
it makes me think just the way he took control of it from the start it makes me think. I kind of think he'll do this again pretty soon. Like, it makes me think that when it comes down to, if the where's the BMW this year? Delaware somewhere?
Delaware, yeah.
Do we know if that's going to be a birdie fest or an Olympia Fields type thing?
It won't be Olympia Fields. I can promise you that.
But I mean, not much is Olympia Fields. But it makes me think of, like, if we get to another tournament kind of like that, maybe even the Open, right? I don't know if he'll go back-to-back majors, but, like, it makes me think he'll have a lot more. One, he'll have a lot more confidence going into Sunday, but two, there might be a 6-hole stretch where it's like, man, Fitz is like, he thinks this is his tournament, whereas before maybe he thought it, but he didn't show it. And you didn't think that by watching him on TV.
Yeah. Well,
and I think now he should feel like he can do this more often.
It's another guy who just feels like, I mean, he's so talented, but at the same time, just based off his track record in these hard tournaments like this, his competitive spirit he just wants to be better than everyone else. And that single-handedly is why he contends in some tournaments. There is no way that you are able to get past this golf course not shooting above 70 without just pure determination getting you through some holes. Because no matter how skilled you are, sometimes that you just need to like lock down and just the competitive drive to know when you don't have your best stuff, because you can't have your best stuff all 4 days unless you're like Tiger Woods. I can guarantee we didn't have his best stuff for 72 holes, but he found a way to continuously break par and find a way to, and even when he faltered at the end of Friday, like, it's just like, it's one of those guys that feels like now, since he's had some trouble getting over the hump recently, the floodgates could definitely open. Because now that he knows, I mean, he's won at the biggest stage. So it'll be interesting to see. As Dan said, I think I could definitely see this being his only major. But I could also see him winning 3 down if he gets the right golf course. So it's something that could. It really depends. It'll be interesting to see. I think he'll be a story in many future Opens and U.S. Opens to come. But overall, just a fantastic week for him, and props to him because he went out there and he won it. And yeah, he's nothing short of, I guess, the king of the country club, because no one else has won there in like what 30
Strange in 88. Yeah. Just to bust into a different topic, talking about how Fitz is a guy who's going to pick the courses, pick his spots at, major courses that fit him. I'm going to be very blunt here. I said it in my Instagram post. Jordan Spieth at US Opens is, I mean, it's I don't want to call it a nightmare, but besides 2015, it's bad. We
stole one in 2015.
I mean, he played well. It's still his US Open, but I mean,
that's one of the things that made him so great.
I mean, he's just way better
was
than
the fact that
he is now.
He picked his spot. He found the course that he could contend at very well, and he won, which is huge because he may not get another chance to win another US Open.
Yeah, I honestly, if we ever do go back to Chambers Bay, I think he goes in with some confidence because he's won there. I don't really know if that course fit him great or if he was just on top of the world and way better than anyone else in 15.
I think we underestimate a lot how much Michael Greller's experience there played into the fact
that's very true.
No one had ever played there.
Yeah, I agree.
So that definitely helped because that course is definitely one of those spots where you need to find like the 10-yard windows to land it, or else so you don't roll down a 90-foot hill.
Yeah.
So I definitely think that helped, which would not come into factor as if they played again. But I agree. I don't think Chambers Bay necessarily fits his game on paper. I'd still love to see them go back. I think it was just a different test, a fun test.
Yeah, I actually
people hitting it 150 feet downhill, pretty cool.
I shared with you guys. I met the rules official.
Oh yeah.
Who had to manage Jordan's mess that he made on the 7th hole on Sunday, and he's officiated 14 U.S. Opens, and he said his least favorite was Chambers Bay. So selfishly, I'm like, that's the one Jordan won. How could you pick that? But yeah, if you've probably heard the rumors of just how bad Chambers Bay was, of the layout and the setup and everything. He basically said the same thing. But just getting into Spieth at the U.S. Opens, I mean, he's plus 67, and I know the U.S. Open's a brutal test, but he's plus 67 in his career at U.S. Opens. He's finished under par in just one of them. I think going forward at U.S. Opens and even PGAs, he's going to be just like Matt Fitzpatrick, picking his spots at courses that fit him. I think he alluded to it, and we obviously knew that the Country Club was going to be a course that fit him. He got sick. He didn't play his best, and he didn't putt well. I'm hoping it comes back in 2028 because I really do think it's a U.S. Open venue that does fit him.
I mean, I won't. I think he played fine this week. I think
Yeah,
the
he
putter
played okay.
was the putter is just at a level that's like it's below that. It's just it's not one of those putters that it's cold, you can't make anything. It's a putter that literally is going to single-handedly take him out of major championship contention for years to come if he doesn't.
Yeah.
Purely because he not only is he, it's not like it's a consistent miss. He's missing low, he's missing high, he's missing long, and he just has no confidence. One of the biggest things I picked up from being in person was how conservative his stroke is. He decelerates, which you just didn't see at the beginning of his career. Everything is just a very scared stroke. You can see it. He's very jittery. It's one of the biggest things I saw in person. It's just the forward press is like very hesitant. Like it's all around. Just there's no confidence coming from that club, which is disappointing because it's tough to see how someone who had the best putting career, the best putting season of all time, fall from the sky like this, to where he is now, which is nothing short of well below average on tour.
Yeah, it's disappointing. Sorry to interrupt you. It's disappointing too, especially going into the U.S. Open, coming off Memorial, which was his best putting week in over a year. I would have thought he would have taken some confidence out of that, and it was brutal. And I will be fair to him at the U.S. Open. He didn't miss too many short ones. He was pretty locked in from that 5 foot range. He might have missed one all week, which will obviously. Inside 5 feet, I don't know about that.
He missed like 2 or 3. He missed one on 12. He missed one on what was the one in like one of the first 2
I don't know if the one inside 12 was 5 feet though.
He missed, I think, 2 inside of 6 feet.
2 inside 6 feet. That for the week isn't bad.
7 on Friday and then 12 on Sunday or Saturday.
That's not bad. I mean, that's in a U.S. Open. That's fine. I guarantee
those
everyone's doing
those
that.
are the only ones I can think of. I thought he was fine from inside of 6 feet.
Agreed. He was just horrible outside 10.
Okay, so his strokes gain numbers with the putter weren't even that bad. Jordan, you've looked at it.
I don't care. I literally don't care about the strokes gains.
I mean, just to interrupt you, like I looked at them, and when Dan says not bad, he still lost strokes gain, right? Dan, he still lost.
Yeah, but guess how many he lost?
He was close to average, I assume.
5.5.
Okay, he lost 0.3.
Okay.
For the whole tournament.
Yeah.
You're not winning with that.
I just don't care. I'm sitting here. I watched him play golf for 4 days in tournaments. It was some of the best wedge play I've seen in years from him. The driver wasn't great, but it wasn't detrimental. Right. He had some poor misses early on, but fatigue early on. I'll give him the first round with a free pass. The rest of the week he looked fine. I'm not gonna give any excuses there. But the putter, you don't shoot +7 playing well without a very bad putter, like a very poor putter. He missed so many putts from that 7 to 15 foot range when he was giving them those so often this week. He was giving him so many chances to make putts. And another thing that killed him was he was just hitting bad spot. Like, I don't think he came within, I guess on Friday it rolled down, but he didn't come within 40 yards of the green on 8 all week. Like he's hitting bad spots in green light opportunities, which is not great.
What hole did you say?
8. So on Thursday he rolled down the hill.
He
But-
birdied it Friday.
Friday he birdied it from the bottom of the gully. The bunker shot. I mean, to put it in
Birdied
that bunker
Sunday.
is
Yeah,
devastating.
that was embarrassing.
You can't do that on a hole that's being eagled, and all you have to do is get it on the green, and it will be inside of 20 feet. Like that's literally all you have to do. He was just hitting a lot of really it was just sloppy, a lot of sloppy mistakes from Jordan all week, and it's disappointing because we wanted to play so well. I'm not really worried about his ball striking, but the putter is a real concern. We were sitting here a year ago with basically the same thing, but we were like, all right, it's cold, it'll come. But it still doesn't come. And he's stubborn and he thinks that he can play. And I'm not trying to tell him what to do. I'm just saying that I'd like to see him change it up a bit. Because he's been trying to do this his entire career, and it worked out at the beginning where he tried to dive everything into the hole. And it worked, but you can't do the same thing on the greens for 20 years and expect it to work. Tiger Woods has changed many things when he putted over his career, but he knew when to change. And I haven't seen anything. I just think that it's disappointing that given that he had, again, the best putting season probably of all time, I have zero confidence he makes it. Which is disappointing. Because me and Jordan talk about this all the time. It is single-handedly cost him 2 or 3 majors. The 2021 Masters. It cost him contention at Kiowa. What are some other ones? I mean, Southern Hills. Fun, but it's just not.
Yeah,
I forget. Did he? He didn't putt Colonial
that well. No, he didn't put it horribly, but below.
But
his
it
standard.
wasn't.
It was positive.
It wasn't how he usually puts Colonial.
Yeah, it's just.
Yeah. Here's what I'll say about the putter this week. I kind of think the same thing about Southern Hills, although Southern Hills is a little bit of time ago now. So I'll say it about this week only. I don't think he was like bleeding strokes with the putter. I just don't think the putter saved him. And to be in a major, you have to have your putter save you at some point, regardless of strokes gained number. Like Thursday, I don't think it lost him a bunch of strokes, but it didn't save him any strokes, if that makes any sense. Like, I don't think he was like, I'm not sure how else to describe it really, or how to word it.
That's fair. I mean, every US Open champion's making a couple 15-footers for par as the week goes on.
There is no momentum being kept with the putter.
And that's just another thing all week. He was like T3 in birdies. Like, he's giving so many shots back the whole after he makes a birdie.
Right. Well, that's kind of my point. I don't think the putter is like.
It's not in a spot to keep momentum. You're right. It's exactly
right. I think it's not at the point where you can lean on it for 3 holes around to kind of bail you out of something, and that's just going to kill you every tournament. It's not bleeding. It's not bleeding the same way it was bleeding at RBC, the same way it was bleeding at Valero, but it's certainly not keeping him afloat the way it has in the past, right? And I think, look, the 25-footers have just dried up, and he's not been good from 4 to 8 feet this year. It's by far his worst, but he's never really been good from 4 to 8 feet. And the difference is he's just not as good from him outside of 20 feet. And I think he can get back to a point where he's a top 40 putter. But right now, he's just not good from really any distance. Like, there's not a distance where I'm like, oh, that's a good distance for him.
And even the lag putting is okay, but like,
It's not been his best either.
It's
His
not
speed
been
has
his
not
best
been good
because
either.
not only is it not been his best, but he's missing the 3-footer when he lags a 60-footer to 3 feet. And that's just like killing all momentum. And it's
Right.
just, it's,
Yeah.
and listen, I mean, I watch a lot of golf. They're the Keegan Bradleys of the world who get hot with a putter 3 weeks of the year.
Mm-hmm.
And he does well for himself. He's made a very good career. He's won a few tournaments. He's won a major. And he'll get a great paycheck every year because he's always in contention 2 or 3 times a year. I don't want that for Jordan. I want him to be a consistent player. But it's getting to a point where this year, he hasn't even had one of those weeks yet.
Well, he did
Memorial.
Memorial. They popped.
That's it.
Eh.
Dude,
But he did at Memorial and he didn't contend.
5 strokes is a pop week. That's a lot of strokes putting.
It is a lot of strokes, but he didn't contend is what I'm saying.
Well, you can blame that on
no, but
Mr.
that's-
Hybrid and the irons. I mean, that's
I agree, but he can't.
get it all together.
Exactly. And
Yeah, he's inconsistent.
it's just kind of, it's funny because I feel like we kind of got away with one this year. I think it's been a step back, but we got away. So
Season's not over yet, number one. And number two,
we stole a win, I feel like.
Yeah.
Because we won without a putter, which doesn't happen.
Yeah, it
And
shouldn't happen.
It's big because he hasn't putted well all year, and that was the only way he was going to win this year, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I will say, there's something about, I know he loves fast greens, but there is something about the ultra slow 9 stimp fescue greens of Mr. Andrews that gives me some hope, because on those greens, you just can't die them in because they're too bumpy. That's how they play over there.
Yeah.
That's how the greens are. And I love it for him because he's always done well at the Open, which means he knows how to adjust to that. I think he needs that right now. I think he needs to see them go in the Cup, and I think he knows that week of all weeks that he has to put them in the back. He can't die in a 10-footer because you just can't trust it to break how you're going. Like, it's too inconsistent.
Right.
They're fescue greens. Fescue. In the United States of America, we see fescue as long, wispy gold stuff. That's what these greens are made of. Obviously, they're cut down a lot more, but that's not going to be consistent like Poana or bent grass.
No.
So I'm hanging on to the slimmest of hope that Mr. Spieth will find a way to putt his way to a victory in the Heartlands and give me a major championship victory. Because right now, I think it was a really, it's definitely big red alarm that he has not putted Augusta well 2 straight years. But last year at the Open, it wasn't amazing, but it wasn't, he gained strokes. He made putts when he needed to.
Yeah.
And he found that killer, and that just, he is so, you can't fathom how talented he is. He is just so talented. His touch is everything. People like me or you don't hit the shots that he hits at the Ryder Cup from that spot. We don't make 40-footers back to back. Like, he is so talented, and it doesn't just leave. So it's there, and I really am hanging on to the hope that the fact that his stubbornness can't hurt him at the Open, because he knows that he can't hide everything into the hole. Like, he has to play the Open like he has his entire career, which has led to much success. So that's my rant on the putter. I'm very, very looking forward to a 3-week stretch of tournaments overseas. I'm very excited for the Pro-Am. I don't think it's fescue like Scottish and St. Andrews, but they're definitely not super fast because they can't be over there. The wind's howling.
The Pro-Am's not like an event, right? It's just like
It's not, but it will be fun to see how he putts.
I don't even know if there's coverage though.
Like, it probably isn't. But
There should
if
be.
he wins, then there's some.
Yeah.
Like, I
Fair,
just
I
want
guess,
to see 3 straight weeks. I'm excited for him to play 3 straight weeks overseas and figure out because you gain a lot more confidence. I'm someone who likes fast greens more than slow greens because I'm just I'm naturally a good putter. That's how I've become good hitting the ball 200 yards off the tee, being the scrawny little 100-pound boy that I've been my entire life. I've always been a very good putter. And I like fast greens, but there's something about them being slow enough where you have to slam them in the back. It's also fun. It's two different styles. Jordan clearly does not have it dialed in on the first style, but he can find it in the second style. He putted well at St. George's.
Yeah. And the thing about St. Andrews as well is that they're slow, but they're still slopey. Like
They are slow, and he loves slopey.
You can still see the pictures that he wants to see and just give them a little extra hit, you know?
Exactly.
And I think that in theory should be good.
I will not be able to live through 8 straight days, including Scotch, of him leaving putt short. He really can't get a putt to the hole there because he still thinks that he's living in America. That would be devastating. Because he's always adjusted well overseas.
Yep. No, he'll figure.
He's always adjusted well in Europe. I am looking forward to the Open more than I was even looking forward to the Masters this year. Because to be honest, I didn't have any faith he was going to putt well at the Masters. There just wasn't anything there. So I'm very, very, very much looking forward to the Open. I'm excited for the Travelers. I'm going. But I don't expect much. He's never putted those greens well. Besides 2018. He didn't putt well when he won. He made a few 50-footers.
Yeah.
It wasn't unbelievable.
No,
I think he lost strokes gained for at least 2 of the 4 days.
Right. Yeah, he was positive for the week, but he was, like I said, I think it was.
But on Saturday, I think he made he was well ahead going into Sunday. Like he had a lead and he almost kind of flew away. But he did putt well Sunday. He hit like 4 40-footers on
Saturday. Yeah, Sunday the putter tried to blow it. It was a sign of things to come in a year or whatever. But yeah, I don't know. Do you guys have any more US Open tidbits before we go?
Well, I want to say that just to wrap up my thoughts, it was really cool tracking in person. It was cool being able to give kind of the boots on the ground point of view from it. It was cool. I mean, I didn't want him to be sick, but it was nice to know that before anyone else, and just like that was kind of cool. And it was cool having people come up and saying hi. Like, I mean, I had a good handful of people who came up. Like that was pretty cool. That was a really cool experience. I'm sure I'll have more of the Travelers, but same for Jordan. It was an unforgettable experience. I will never I need to get to more majors because that was an unbelievable feeling. But we're on to the Travelers. Tomorrow I'll be 12 o'clock. Are they playing 18 tomorrow? Please don't.
I think so.
Yeah.
I think the Travelers Prom is 18 holes.
That's unfortunate.
It's a tough program.
Well, proms are also long, very long. That'll be a 5-hour round. That'll be long. It's a bunch of hacks, and Jordan plays 3 balls. So that'll be interesting. We'll see. I'll be there. Just being unfortunate, I'll get home in a late hour. And the 7:45 tee time on Friday isn't ideal. But it is what it is.
Yeah.
So
I think Jordan, any last thoughts from
2028 US Open spot is open. I know that the Country Club was a smaller venue and they couldn't sell as many tickets, which means less money, but bring it back there. Do not bring it back to the piece of crap known as Torrey Pines. Chambers would be cool, but I think the Country Club's nicer than Chambers Bay. No offense.
Oh, I'd much rather the Country Club than Chambers Bay.
The Country Club is like I get it from a money standpoint. It's tough, but it's nicer than Pinehurst. It's nicer than a lot of the future venues that are already scheduled. So that's my closing thought. It was awesome being in person. Sucks that
Yeah.
Verizon stinks up there with you guys. I know Bob had T-Mobile. T-Mobile seemed to be kicking some ass up there.
T-Mobile had itself a week at the U.S. Open. Well done.
Verizon-
I was getting texts all week. Oh, there's no service there. You're gonna have to get someone else to track. T-Mobile, shout
T-Mobile
out,
was pretty
not a
solid.
sponsor, but shout out to you guys. That was unbelievable performance. I got better cell service there than I do at home. So fantastic job for them. And also got to show this because I know Jordan has one too. But nice little Jordan Spieth signed flag that we got. I purposely only got that signature because that's really the only one I care about. I'm gonna get Frank Coin to sign the other half. That would be cool, just because that was a really cool memory seeing.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that's it. I'll be at the Travelers next week. Jordan will be at the BMW. And then I'll be at Pebble
I'll be at
and Travelers next year. I don't think I'll be
Mortgage.
I don't know. I don't know if I'll be able to go to Muirfield next year because I don't know. Because I'm going to Pebble. I'll go to the Travelers.
I'm going to something next year. It's
My
either
dad's gonna be like, I'll go to Muirfield if you guys want to make the trip because I can get you guys all.
that's easy for me.
I'll fly there. I don't care.
Yeah, we can work on something there. 'Cause that would be easy. That would be
Yeah, it's very.
that
easy.
would be easier than.
I'm thinking about Oak Hill as well for the PGA.
I've also been thinking about Oak Hill.
I plan to be at Oak Hill.
The problem is there's no tickets, and the resales are going to be so expensive.
You had to sign up for the ticket window, my friend.
Yeah, I know, but
Late? No. They'll release more tickets closer. Trust me. This
Yeah.
isn't the U.S. Open. Oak Hill is pretty big.
I for sure plan on going to Valhalla though in 24.
where's Valhalla? That's Kentucky.
It's in Louisville, right?
I'd make
Ew.
that trip. I'd make that trip.
It's not that far. It's like I can drive there. It's a
Yeah,
bit
I
of a
mean,
drive, but
So we should.
Where are you
have-
staying right now, Dan?
I'm in Ann Arbor,
So you're still in, you stay in Michigan all year round.
Michigan. Yeah,
You can
Yeah.
drive to Kentucky?
yeah. It's like 6 hours, 5 hours.
Oh, that's not bad.
It's not too-
Really? That's
Yeah.
so surprising.
Yeah, Kentucky's a lot closer to Michigan than you think it is.
I mean, I'm thinking that's a 15-hour drive.
Well, because it's just through Ohio. Like
My
Kentucky,
mind's blown.
Ohio, and Michigan. Yeah, it's weird until you look at a map and then you're like, oh yeah, that's how
Well,
it is.
Jordan, you signed up the ticket window for Oak Hill, right?
They will be bought within the week. Yes.
You can get Oak Hill tickets bought this week.
Yeah. Basically, they send you. I only have one code though, so like I can't. I would give it to you, but I literally can't because the one code is only for me.
How many tickets are you able to get?
We can talk about it off stream. But
Right. We could see because
we'll
I know
see.
I know I have a place up there to stay if I need to.
yeah, I mean,
I just need the tickets.
just looking at the future venues too, Oak Hill, I guarantee at least probably one of us will be there. I think I'll be there. Bob, you'll hopefully be there. If
I mean,
you'll be in
I
Valhalla,
feel like I could find a way. I found a way to get U.S. Open tickets.
Quail Hollow's easy drive and Arana makes.
Quail Hollow.
So I mean, we could do 4 straight
Oh,
PGAs
that's
for the pod.
disgusting. Oh, Coil Hall PGA is coming up.
2025, yes.
Oh,
We're going back to Bethpage soon.
That page is not. They have the Ryder Cup, so
oh yeah,
I'd rather
that'll
see
be
Bethpage.
electric. I might need to get there.
Anybody want to go to LA next summer?
no.
I'm good.
That'd be
No, thank
chaotic.
I'm good.
U.S. Open will be on the East Coast quite a bit, though. And Bob and I's neck of the woods in the next 10
Yeah.
years, which
I
is
think-
nice.
Oh, I will absolutely be making the trip to Shinnecock.
yeah,
yeah.
it's not that bad
I think
at all.
one more US Open thing. I was thinking about Zalatoris and where he's gonna get his first major because it's coming. Oak Hill seems like a good spot for him. So I'm just gonna throw that out there. So
I don't know enough about Oak Hill to speak on it, but
Yeah, but it's kind of I think it's more parklandy.
yeah, they've
Yeah.
remodeled it a bit since what Keegan won in 2011. So
Yeah,
I'm sure there'll
it's-
be some awesome stuff coming out about it as we get closer to next year.
Yeah, so it'll be a good test for sure. But I think it fits I don't want to, it's like a Bethpage country club mix,
It sounds like fun.
which is pretty cool. So I think I'm just gonna throw that out there. It'll probably change come next May, but
Yeah, I mentioned, or I know, talk about majors. So I mentioned earlier, if you got to get to a major, the best thing, in my opinion, about the major is the courses. Like, I know that's the bland thing to say, but like, no one gives a crap about most of these TPC venues that they play on the PGA Tour. Bob and I got to see a 130-year-old place where the 1913 US Open was held. I mean, that's just, as a history nerd, it was just so cool.
did you go see Francis Ouimet's house?
I didn't. It was behind
Wait,
16
Francis
green.
Ouimet lived on the course?
He lived across the street.
No, I'm kidding. Just because they mentioned it about a
Ryan
billion
did
times.
the same thing to me.
They start the coverage with it and they end it with it.
Yeah.
As they should. It's just so cool.
Right across from where Francis Ouimet lives.
I mean, he beat Harry Varden and Ted Ray as an amateur.
Harry Varden is
sick.
like
The best English golfer of all time.
he would be like if it was if golf. I mean, it's again black and white Mickey Mouse because it was so long ago, but like he was one of the best golfers ever. Like he was just he was unbelievable. If you look at everything that he accomplished. But yeah, let's get on to the Travelers. Jordan Spieth is playing the Travelers this week. That's about all we have on the LIV Tour.
Tee times, and he's featured in Marquee and whatever.
Late early, 1:00 on Thursday, Friday, 7:45 with Scotty and Zach Johnson. Ryder Cup.
Oh, Brooks just withdrew.
Really? Oh, that's unfortunate. That's kind of a good segue, though. We might as well just go straight to it. So Brooks, I mean, if you're listening to this, you know that Brooks Koepka has officially, well, it's not official because LIV hasn't posted it, but
it's happening.
It's basically like it is what it is. Because Brooks is an LIV guy now. I keep saying LIV. I think it's just LIV.
54 tour.
Yeah, that thing. Surprising? Probably not. Especially because his brother, like Chase, is in the LIV tour. Like, it makes sense. It's a lot of money. It's interesting because it's a little bit. It seems like what the LIV tour is now kind of goes against what Brooks claims to be, which is like this ultra competitor. But I'm not surprised, and it is what it is. It was big news that Morikawa claimed he wasn't going, because Morikawa would be the first guy if he did that I'd be like, whoa, that sucks. Like that really sucks. All these other guys.
I think Cam Smith would be that guy for me if he leaves. That would be disappointing.
It would be disappointing, but not, to be honest, like I'd probably move on pretty quickly.
He's a players champion. That'd be.
That is true. I mean,
that would be a kick in the balls to the PGA Tour.
If Craig Perks went, I would be distraught.
I'd be.
And if you guys don't know who Craig Perks is, you don't have ESPN Plus, which is okay, but I do recommend you get it. Craig Perks, 2002 Players Champ. Anyway, continue.
It's just very funny that I have not heard that name in probably 10 years.
Craig Perks.
But he was a Players Champ. So
you don't watch the Marquee feed?
Does he do that?
Him and Lisa Cornwell, I tell you.
I didn't know that. I did not know. I remembered my dad. My dad.
He was
my cousin. One of my uncles or someone went to the 2000 Players Champ. That's the only reason I know that he even exists, because I didn't know he was on ESPN Plus.
Yeah, he's it's like his little title when they show them in the booth. It's like Lisa Cornwell and whatever she did, and then it's like Craig Perks, 2002 Players Champ.
That was his only win too, which just is insane.
Like Craig, that's sick.
Good for him.
He was on.
He won the most important.
Yeah, he was on the ground for Spieth at Spieth's group the first 2 days at the U.S. Open.
That's pretty sick.
Yeah,
I'm laughing at the fact that Mr. Hoagie is a featured group.
Yeah, it's an interesting. I mean, Brooks WDing makes a lot of sense now. There's rumors of so Answers left. There's rumors of who Decky, I think is the big one kind of flying around right now. Man, it's
I
just
hate the
kind of,
rumors. Like I
it's
get
kind
it,
of
but
crazy.
like I hate
Yeah.
it.
Well, it's probably, I think it's just what the LIV Tour wants to do.
Exactly.
They just want to create more drama, and then who knows? I think No Laying Up made this point is like they create the drama and then like, oh, and some other tour players like, oh, Morikawa's thinking about this, then I should be thinking about it, right? And then it's like, all right, Morikawa's not actually doing it, but so it's interesting. The PGA Tour, I don't know where else we want to go with the LIV Tour, because I think the PGA Tour had some meeting today, and their response was basically 8 LIV events that are PGA Tour events just throughout the PGA Tour season, which I thought was a step in the right direction. But I don't, and it was funny because people are like, well, they're just copying the LIV, and it's like, well, that's kind of the point, is to have the golf that people want to play all on the same tour.
Right, because no one cares about the money. It's all about the format and
Right.
they
Well,
get to
I
spend more
mean,
time.
look, so they're adding more money to
I
the
know, I'm
event,
just joking.
but they're also adding events that the stars want to play. And so it's like to keep the LIV guys from going to join LIV because there's a semi-LIV already on the PGA Tour. And I think that's a good thing. That's what they should be doing. Because that's how you keep guys. And you keep, if it's top 60 players, like Kevin Kisner is going to be making the bag for showing up, right? And it's not like the same bag he'd make on the LIV Tour, but it's
Also,
more
I
than
don't really think Kevin Kisner is that much of a money grab person. Have you seen his house?
no,
He
but
lives in a very like American style, like not rich at all. Like he from everything I've seen on podcasts, stuff he's done, and he told someone I caddied for once, like that he played around with. He likes to live a very low, like I know
Yeah.
he says that he plays certain events for the money, but
Right,
that's
well,
because it's his job. But
yeah.
I don't think he's all about getting to be a billionaire. Like
No, but
I
I
think he
think
very much
it
enjoys
helps
his
though.
life.
He's not going to complain about these though. Like these are now
He's
more
not,
events
but I don't.
where he can show
I
up.
agree, but I
He will
don't think
show
he.
up because like the 20th place gets him.
But that's why I don't think he's going to the LIV Tour. That's what I'm saying.
No, and I agree, but I think
don't see it.
it keeps guys that might be like Kisner around, because now they're like,
True.
okay, I can earn my way onto a selective list. They're basically WGCs and make a lot with a player's purse. And the tour need to do that. The big question now is like, well, where all this money come from?
The
That's
tour
it.
has it and like reserves. I mean, they've had money. Like I was reading again, like I don't know if this is like verified stuff, but like, which is probably I shouldn't be speaking on it, but I'm pretty certain of it. The PGA Tour, like any sports league, has a certain amount of money they can distribute. And in terms of like NBA, NFL, MLB, they are last in what of how much money they give out actually ends up going back to the players. So they've held a lot of it in reserves for a long time. So obviously the LIV has motivated them to, keep more players. So now they're throwing that money out there.
Which is exactly
what Phil was about.
What Phil was saying.
Right.
So I guess it's a win for him. But anyways, it's not. I want to bring something else up about Brooks.
Okay. Yeah, go ahead.
Because I'm going to make the case that Brooks is not doing this all for the money. Because he said before that $200 million would not change his life. He could have been lying, but I kind of believe him.
That's probably true.
I think that he's doing this because in the end, he does not enjoy playing unless it's a major.
Right.
I think he is fully happy making more money while also
working less
and not having to play the Wyndham Championship.
And
to keep his job.
Right.
Like he has to play the tour. Like he can't just play 4 tour events. Like, he has to play tour events as well as the majors. I think this is the best of both worlds for him. I think if the majors were not in the conversation, this would be a big difference. But
Yeah.
I do not think he's doing this just for the bag. I really don't. I think that he's
I
very
agree.
happy that he has to work less. I think he doesn't want to play golf more than 14 weeks a year. And I
Right.
think he's going to be completely happy with what this gives him. I do not think he's doing this all for the money at all.
And I think because he probably won't have to play all the live events either, right? Is that part of the contract? Do you guys
There's
know?
only like 8 of them.
Yeah, I think I don't know what it is.
Okay, but I also think it goes to his main original whole Brooksian argument or philosophy or motto or whatever is like, I really only care about the majors. And I'm now gonna just make a lot of money and play 54 hole exhibitions. And then I'm gonna show up at St. Andrews or Augusta or LACC or Oak Hill, and I'm just gonna beat you guys. Unfortunately, he hasn't been doing a very good job of beating everybody in the majors recently. So he, he'll have to flip that, or else it just looks stupid if his whole shtick and motto, he isn't backing it up. But he could raise his like motto to its fullest by just saying like, hey, I'm playing in exhibitions and I'm playing in majors and I'm still beating the crap out of all you guys and I'm making a lot of money doing it.
Yeah, I also think like I think he enjoys winning like the Waste Management Phoenix Open. I think that was like a thrill for him. I think he loves winning. But I don't think it's worth the other weeks of finishing like 8 T40 for him to get 1-2 wins a year and have none of them be majors. Like, I just don't think it's worth it to him. I think he'd rather play 8 exhibitions and beat the crap out of guys in majors. I think that's what he has his eyes set on.
Yep.
So for the first what?
I have another theory. Dan Rappaport kind of alluded to it.
Oh boy.
We won't get into Dan Rappaport, but I think Brooks did it for his brother. I think Liv told Brooks that if they gave his brother the bag, that Brooks would have to come on board too.
Wow. It's not a bad theory.
Not at all. I mean, Chase Koepka's far from set for life financially. Brooks easily is. I think everyone's situation is their own. And yeah, Brooks doesn't give a crap about regular PGA Tour events. So why not help your brother and go play these exhibitions?
Now that I'm hearing
able
this,
to play majors.
Now that I'm hearing this, I actually think that that's all. I think that, again, this is just like the best of our worlds for him. For the first time, I think that someone like Brooks Koepka has a very good reason to do this. I really do. I don't think it's a money grab. I don't think it's. But hearing that, I think that that's a very good reason because, again, he's getting the opportunity to still play golf for a living. He's getting to play majors, and he's helping his brother in the meantime. I think it's very possible that he was in the contract that Brooks would come eventually. Because Chase Koepka has the name, but he definitely doesn't have the status anywhere near what he probably got paid.
He's only a name because he's Brooks' brother.
Exactly.
If his name is Chase Blute, like.
What about the Blute stand?
Well, okay, the Blutes have a name, I guess, but like it's not a Koepka name.
What?
And I'm not trying to.
We have a few congressmen in the family.
I'm not trying to throw shade on the Blutes, right? The Blutes are a great family.
The Blutes may take that as a big kick in the balls.
Okay, well,
I feel a defamation lawsuit coming your way.
I might have misspoke. If his name was Chase Blute, he would have 3 green jackets already. All right. Looks like I've I've offended the Blutes, but if his name was Chase
Carp.
No, come on. I can't do the carps like that. If his name was
You took the Blutes without hesitation.
That's fair.
If his name was Chase
Olson. Do it right to you. Do it right to you.
Fine. Chase Olson. Who knows where he'd be in life. I don't know why I chose Blutes. I apologize to the Blute family. I'll make you waffle sometimes, Bob, sometime. And
Bet.
that'll
Yeah.
make up for it.
It's fair. I'll take it.
Okay, deal.
That's a really interesting theory, Jordan. I'm very happy you brought that up because I am fully on board with that. I think that's very possible. Yeah.
The LIV is just wild because it changes every single day.
Yeah, it does. And the thing is, they do a really good job of making people create rumors and think about it. Like the LIV is living in everybody's head.
It is.
And that's good marketing by them. And I don't even know, like, I feel like they don't even market it that well, other than like, we're trying to put on this tour, and then other people, they just get people talking. And like, they don't make a post and say like with the eye emojis or whatever. It's not like, oh, we've got a big announcement coming. It's just like, you just start rumors and they spread because golf, Twitter is like a wildfire. So
Yeah.
So
I
spreads.
just listen. I have had a very kind of nonchalant opinion on the LIV Tour. I'm getting a little sick of it.
yeah,
But my stance has not changed on the players. I think that the players are, some of this is just too much money. Some of them have good reasons to do it. I'm not prepared to take a step to judge the players. I am fully open to judging everything else. I think that this could be very bad for the sport in the long term. I think it could be good for it. I don't know how it's going to play out. I think that it's nice the PGA Tour making some positive changes in terms of giving players more money. And I'd like to see some other stuff too, obviously. But I also think that, like, in the end, this is a battle that the PGA Tour cannot win long term if they don't make some sort of compromise. They just don't have the money to do it.
compromise with LIV or compromise
Something.
with
They
somebody.
have.
Yeah, I agree with that.
They can't achieve their goal of having the LIV disappear and then being the superior tour without any sort of compromise change. Like, they don't have the financial capabilities to do it.
Right. And if it's
Eventually the LIV Tour could be able to hand $25 million to every top PGA Tour Q school player, and they'd have to take it because that's just money you can't turn down at that age.
Right. Yeah,
it would kill the future. They'd have no future. They'd have nothing. Like, there's going to have to be some decision made that's going to change something, because they can't win how they're doing it now. They don't have the money to do it.
Right. Well, I think they have to make a compromise either with the players of the PGA Tour, with the PGL, maybe that team event that's got that also has some money, not obviously LIV money, but it's businessmen money, and who knows where that money's coming from or whatnot, but it certainly isn't the Saudi direct fund or whatever. But I think at this point, like, we all have our stances on it, and I don't really think those are going to change. I'm just tired of it, and it just really sucks to see, because golf, there's very few stars in the game of golf. They can be replaced, but it sucks that they're going to be in different spots doing different things. And it does elevate the majors, because then they'll all be there. But
Yeah.
it's like you want to see
you're right.
at the same spot more often than just 4 weeks of the year.
Yeah, like, I'm disappointed that I'm not going to get to see Brooks and Bryson at the drop. Like, I'm disappointed that those two players, who are fun players to watch, are not going to be there. Which is part of the reason why I'm sick of it. I'm sick of players leaving, knowing that they're not going to be on the PGA Tour for a while. Again, do I think that? I just think that the Saudis have a monopoly right now. They just have too much money. But it could get dangerous if things could get really juicy if the majors decide to do something. I don't think they will. But things could get really juicy. But it will be interesting to see how everything plays out. I think my next episode, I think we're gonna have a lot more names and things are gonna be a lot.
Yeah, my last closing thought on LIV is like, I get you guys saying a compromise needs to be made. I don't think the PGA Tour can do anything because, I mean, what compromise are they going to do? I mean, the guys that go to LIV are getting paid massive amounts of money straight up front. They don't give a crap about coming back to the PGA Tour.
Well,
I mean,
not
the
with
only
them, though.
But they do.
They're
I
not
don't think they do at all.
compromising with them.
They would. I think a lot of players would love to be able to get the bag, but also play on the PGA Tour.
I think the only events they'd want to play is the players, and if they can somehow find a way to play the FedEx Cup for all the money that's there. I don't think they give a crap about regular events. That's just my opinion, though.
I think you already see Hideki make the comments like he's interested in the LIV Tour if he gets to play PGA Tour. Like, I think there are still plenty of people that love the competitive aspect. For Brooks Koepka, maybe not. But you don't think Bryson DeChambeau wants to also play in other events? I think he does. Absolutely. He loves to win.
I mean, he loves the money.
He loves the money, but he loves to win too.
He chose money over winning. Like
Yeah.
You think Phil would absolutely play the PGA Tour again? He's allowed to.
Phil?
Yes, he said it. He said that he'd love to be able to have the choice between both.
He's like 52 at this point. I mean, he might play an event or two.
Well, okay, here's the thing about it, though, is like they'd love to, but I mean, Jordan just said it, right? It's like as of right now, they love the money more than they love the winning tour events.
Yeah.
And that's their choice right now. So until that changes, if it changes, we'll see.
Well, the thing is, so what do these contacts entail? Like, I've seen some things from some people that say that long term, all of these players will be sponsored. All of the sponsored money will be from the LIV Tour, and and eventually down the line, people won't be sponsored by any external companies in the LIV Tour. That would be very interesting because that would mean it would be a lot harder to come back. But also, like, I mean, first of all, I find it very hard to believe that if they were allowed to play both, that players still wouldn't play both. I think that players.
Oh, I agree with that. I think we're arguing different things, and that's okay. I just think, I mean, for a guy like DJ who got $100 million up front, why would he care to come play a tour event? Where if he wins, he makes an extra $1.5 million. Right. I don't think he wouldn't not, but I just don't think he cares.
No,
that he can't at the moment. Like if he could, he might show up, but I don't think it doesn't bother him that much if he can't. I don't think
he'd rather go fish.
Right. I think that's kind of what we're getting at. Yeah. Like I don't think you're
fair
wrong.
Enough.
Yeah. So I think it's
fair enough.
Somewhere in the middle, and
yeah, it'll be interesting to see.
I mean, who knows?
Yeah.
Maybe superstar Chase Blude will figure it all out.
All right. Well, we're gonna wrap it up there. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Little all-in-one podcast. We figured we would do the Travelers preview in here too, because I mean, if we did 2 individual episodes, the Travelers preview would have been like 20 minutes. So we didn't cover.
I'll give my thoughts on the course tomorrow on probably Instagram Live after following for 18 holes.
And here's the thing, like I just don't. His Spieth's other like 3 after the win, it's like a T42, an MC, and a T58.
Yeah.
And I know he wasn't playing great, but like it in theory should fit him, and the wedges were pretty good at the US.
If the wedges fit, because this isn't a course where you can just drive the greens. Like this is a wedge fest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's gonna have to putt a lot better though. And I mean that's who knows.
We'll get some
unfortunate
reactions from Bobby. So
yeah.
We'll wrap it up there. Appreciate you guys listening.
Peace.
Take care.